Throughout my whole life, I have considered myself an introverted extrovert. I am a person who makes friends very easily, and it usually only takes me about one conversation with the person to become friends with them. And I believe this is a result of me playing sports my entire life. Growing up, I was on all sorts of different teams, so I had so many different teammates. My dad coached me pretty much from preschool through 8th grade in almost every sport I played. And he always pushed me to try to be the best person on the team and push me to be the best I could be at that sport. So a result of this caused me to be the leader of every team I was on. And being a leader, it was very important that I was at least friendly with every single one of my teammates, regardless if I liked them or not. This taught me how to approach people in an athletic setting. Every single team I have been on, pretty much all of my teammates eventually became one of my best friends. It would not take long for us to warm up to each other because working hard and being in that setting bonded us. When I'm on a new team, I instantly become an extrovert because I want to get along with everyone, so I always am the one to approach the new teammate on the team and try to include them and become friends with them. However, if I am not in a sports setting, I'm not usually one to go up and introduce myself to people. I believe this makes me somewhat of an introvert. On the other hand, once I get to know someone, then I become very extroverted. I will dance in public, talk to everyone and anyone, and talk just non-stop. It truly depends on the setting and what mood I'm in to determine whether I'm an introvert or an extrovert at that moment. In grade school and high school, I was definitely an extrovert. Since I have always gone to a Catholic school, I was with the same people from preschool through 8th grade, and then once we got to high school, I was still with all the same people I was in preschool through 8th grade, and then adding other people who I've already known from playing sports against them. So we were all extremely comfortable with each other, so I was a very outgoing person and talked to everyone, especially in high school. So I went to high school at Cape and Mount Carmel Catholic High School, which is like 5 miles from Wichita State, and I was pretty much involved in everything. So I have my high school yearbook to kind of show everything I was involved in. This is from my senior year. So I was in homecoming court my senior year. So I was friends with most of the people in my class. And then I was also on the tennis team. So that's me playing tennis. And then I played volleyball my freshman year, so I made friends there. And that was the first season my freshman year, so it was kind of easy to transition from middle school to high school because I had my teammates from the fall season. But then my coach sucked, so I quit and I decided to play tennis. And then I was also on the basketball team. That's me right there. And me right there. And I played basketball all 4 years, so I made great friends from that. And then softball is my main sport. So I'm here and here on senior night. So I made a lot of amazing friends from softball. And then my senior year, I decided to throw javelin on the track team because I wanted to help our girls track team get points at state. So I made a lot of great friends, and that was a new group of people who I never hung out with before. So I did track and softball. I'm somewhere in the front row at the same time my senior year. And then I was also involved in the National Honor Society, the music ministry, so I would sing at Mass, a retreat leaders group where it was a group of seniors who wrote our testimonies and presented them at the freshman girls retreat. So I was able to, my talk was about how to form a meaningful relationship in high school, and so I was able to connect with the freshmen there. And then I was in a sports leadership program where they picked one person from each sport to represent in one big group. So I represented tennis, basketball, and softball. And that was a big group of athletes that we all hung out and tried to make the sports community better at Capen. And then I was also in our Cum Laude honors program. So these are a bunch of different groups of people. Like I was friends with the musicians, the athletes, the nerds, the religious, like the really religious people. So this helped me kind of branch out in high school, and I was able to become friends with everyone. And my senior year friend group was full of sophomores, juniors, and seniors. So I got very close with other people from other grades, not just my senior class. And I pretty much knew everyone at Capen, and we all got along. And I was a very extroverted senior and was not afraid to put myself out there. But once I got to college, I sort of flipped a switch because I was on a new team for a sport that I've only participated in for a few months. And it was scary because this was the first time I was not one of the best people on the team, because I was just a scared little freshman. And I didn't really want to speak up at practice. I was kind of doing my own thing, doing my own lift and throws, talked to my coach, and that was pretty much it. And my roommate from Spain, she's on the basketball team. That's the basketball poster right there. She hadn't moved in yet because she hadn't got her visa, and she didn't move in until September. So I didn't really have anyone. And I knew no one in any one of my classes, and I was terrified. It was a new place with new people, so that meant I became an introvert again. But luckily, the first night I moved in, I went to St. Paul's, the Newman Center on campus, and I met a bunch of people because a lot of people from Capen come to Wichita State, and a lot of them were there that night. So I was able to talk to them, and they helped me introduce myself to other people. And I also got lucky because a few of my best friends from high school are also on the track team here, so I was able to talk to them for the first few weeks of practice. After being a shy little introverted freshman for the first few weeks, I have now become my extroverted self again. And my teammates that I met in August are some of the best friends I've ever had, and practice is literally my favorite part of every single day. My coach was so surprised to see me so outgoing that one day he literally looked at me and asked, "Emma, why are you so spunky today?" Because the first few weeks of practice, I was just shy and didn't really say anything. But then once I got comfortable around everyone, now I literally don't shut up at practice. And I have not been any less spunky since I found at least one athlete in all of my classes, and now I'm more outgoing while I'm in class because I have them to talk to. College has changed drastically for me in just these few months because of my transition from an introvert in August to a more extroverted person in December. In the past, I always thought being an extrovert just meant being very outgoing and talkative. Extroverts were people who went up and talked to everyone and anyone, and I always thought I needed to be more extroverted because I thought introverts were the losers, the ones in the corner who didn't talk to anyone, and I didn't really want to be one of those people. So in this class, I learned that most supervisors in the workplace or like HR workers are extroverts. Also, extroverts are people who like to take charge and be a leader in a group of people. However, being an extrovert is not always great. If they are in a group setting, people around them may start to get burnt out because they can only take that extroverted energy for so long. And they also need a certain amount of high stimulation, or else they can get bored very easily and very quickly. It is healthy to have a little bit of extroversion and introversion. Regarding what I've learned in class about extroversion, my view of myself has not exactly really changed. I tend to be the person in the group who likes to take charge and be the leader. However, sometimes I feel like an introvert because one of my friends from high school is very, very, very extroverted, and I can only take her energy for a short amount of time. And I definitely have a social battery where if I'm in a space with extroverted people for too long or in a big group of people, my social battery runs out very quickly and I'm ready to go home. But my personality helped me a lot in high school. I would say that I'm a very personal person, so all of my teachers loved me. Not because I was a kiss ass, but because I was a hard worker and had good communication with my coaches and my classmates. This is why I was chosen for like National Honor Society and the retreat group and things like that. My high school career was very successful because I was willing to do anything for my school, like starting track when I had never done it before. My introversion also helped because I was not too much for my teachers, so I didn't really get in any trouble, which helped me keep that good relationship between me and my teachers. I have not had a real job, like a corporate job, but I do babysit a lot. Being a known name around the Wichita community, I've gotten so many more babysitting jobs, and I don't think this would be possible if I was a true introvert. I'm still trying to be a little more outgoing because I'm still getting used to this new environment, but overall, I do feel like my personality has helped me succeed in school and work. Extroverted people definitely have an advantage at work. A person who is outgoing and talkative is much more likely to get a job than a person who is quiet and does not speak up for themselves. One lesson in this class, we learned that most corporate jobs are for people who are extroverted. You need to be able to talk to anyone, and a lot of introverted people are not willing to do that. Some jobs, like accountants, are better for introverted people because they don't really encounter people on a day-to-day basis, and I feel like that would drive an extroverted person crazy because they would just be sitting at a computer all day. Jobs like coaches or teachers are better for extroverted people because they have to interact with people all day and talk, but also introverts could succeed just as well as being like a coach or a teacher. I believe that there are many advantages for extroverted people in the workplace, but there are also just as many disadvantages. Interpersonal communication has not really been a problem for me. The only thing that I struggle with is starting a conversation. I'm a person, sadly, who's very quick to judge, so I have preconceptions about people before I even talk to them. I look at them and I decide, I don't really want to talk to that person. And this prevents me from having so many conversations that I could be having. I have gotten better about not being so quick to judge, but I do feel like this will be a problem for the majority of my life. Once I am in a conversation, it's easy for me to keep it going and listen to what the other is saying. Being an introverted extrovert, the main struggle is having the courage to go up to someone and start a conversation. My plan to fix this is by challenging myself, probably starting next semester, to go up and talk to a new person every day. I see new people all the time in the dining hall, or even new athletes that I find in the student athlete center, and I think it would be very doable for me to just go up to one person a day and just be like, hey, how are you? Introduce myself. And I feel like this will help me get better at interpersonal communication. I have learned a lot about myself from taking this class. Going in, I thought I was a more introverted person because of my struggle of approaching new people. Now I realize that I am actually a more extroverted people. I can take this new information about myself and use it to help me overcome that struggle.